Imagine a world over 4,500 years ago, when the sands of Egypt whispered the secrets of a grand civilization. Amidst the Nile's fertile banks, towering monuments stood tall against the horizon, symbols of power and eternity. At the center of it all was a ruler, a name that would echo through the corridors of history: Khufu, or as the Greeks would later call him, Cheops. Khufu, the second pharaoh of Egypt's fourth dynasty, is a name that many recognize, but few truly understand. Why? Because he is most famously associated with one of the greatest architectural feats of all time, the Great Pyramid of Giza. But who was Khufu really? Was he merely a figurehead whose name happened to be attached to this marvel? Or was he a ruler whose ambition and vision knew no bounds? To answer that, we must journey back to around 2589 BCE, when Khufu ascended the throne. The son of Pharaoh, the innovative king who is credited with building Egypt's first true pyramids. Khufu had some big shoes to fill. But rather than merely following in his father's footsteps, Khufu decided to leave a mark that would last, not just for his time, but for millennia. The Great Pyramid, his enduring legacy, was not just a tomb. It was a statement of divine authority, limitless power, and, let's not forget, boundless ambition. But why did Khufu build such a colossal structure? To understand his motivation, we need to look deeper into the Egyptian worldview. The ancient Egyptians believed that their pharaohs were gods on earth, divinely chosen to rule and maintain Ma'at, the principle of cosmic order and balance. For Khufu, the Great Pyramid wasn't just a burial place. It was a symbol of his divine right to rule, a bridge between the mortal world and the eternal. Constructing the pyramid was no small feat. It took over 2 decades, and it's estimated that more than 2 million stone blocks, each weighing several tons, were used. The sheer scale of the project is mind-boggling even by today's standards. How was it built? This question has baffled historians and archaeologists for centuries. Some believe it was a combination of ramps, levers, and sheer manpower. Others suggest more advanced techniques, like the use of counterweights and pulleys. The truth is, we may never know for certain. But what we do know is that it required an extraordinary level of organization, planning, and resource management, a testament to Khufu's leadership and vision. Khufu's reign wasn't solely defined by his pyramid, however. He ruled during a period of relative peace and prosperity in Egypt. Under his leadership, Egypt flourished. Trade routes expanded, and the kingdom's wealth grew. He oversaw the construction of numerous temples and smaller pyramids, and he continued his father's legacy of building monuments that would stand the test of time. Khufu was a ruler who believed in the divine mission of his kingship, and he pursued it with relentless determination. But Khufu's image hasn't always been one of a grand and just ruler. Some historical accounts, particularly those written long after his death, paint a much darker picture. Herodotus, the Greek historian, claimed that Khufu was a tyrant, a ruler who closed temples, halted sacrifices, and forced thousands into labor to build his monumental pyramid. But is this the true face of Khufu? Or was it simply a reflection of how history is often written by those with their own agendas? Many Egyptologists argue that these accounts, written nearly 2,000 years after Khufu's reign, are likely colored by biases and misunderstandings of Egyptian culture. In reality, the pyramid workers were not slaves, but skilled laborers, craftsmen who took great pride in their work. Evidence from worker camps near the pyramids suggests that they were well fed and housed, a far cry from the cruel oppression that Herodotus described. Khufu's legacy is far more nuanced than just the stories of tyranny. His pyramid was aligned with incredible precision to the cardinal points. Its sides aligned with the 4 directions of the compass, with an accuracy that still astounds scientists today. The pyramid's internal chambers, corridors, and the king's chamber were designed with meticulous care, reflecting both an architectural feat and a deep spiritual significance. The Great Pyramid was, after all, a gateway to the afterlife, a celestial ladder for the soul of Khufu to ascend to the heavens. So, who exactly was Khufu, beyond the legends? To many, he was an enigmatic figure, a man whose ambition drove him to construct a monument that would endure longer than any other. We know very little about Khufu's personality from the historical records. Unlike some pharaohs who left detailed inscriptions about their deeds, Khufu remains somewhat of a mystery. What we do know, however, comes from the scarce depictions found on statues and reliefs, images that present a stern, commanding figure, often seated upon his throne, gazing with an almost inscrutable expression. Interestingly, there are only a few known statues of Khufu, which might indicate a more austere personality compared to his father, Sneferu, who left many more representations of himself. One small ivory statuette, discovered in Abydos, is the only complete three-dimensional representation we have of Khufu, and even that is just a few inches tall. This has led some historians to speculate that Khufu preferred to project his legacy through monumental architecture, rather than through personal iconography. Khufu's court was likely a bustling hub of activity, filled with scribes, priests, architects, and laborers, all working to fulfill the grand vision of their pharaoh. We know that Khufu had several children, including sons who would continue his lineage, and daughters who held significant roles within the royal family. One of his sons, Jedefre, succeeded him, and was initially believed to have constructed the Sphinx of Giza in honor of Khufu, though this theory remains debated among scholars. Another aspect of Khufu's reign that adds a layer of complexity is his involvement in religious reforms. As a pharaoh, Khufu would have been deeply involved in the religious life of Egypt, overseeing temple constructions and offering rituals. Some suggest that he may have initiated changes in the state religion, focusing more on the sun god Ra, a deity that was gaining prominence at the time. This might explain the pyramid's alignment with the sun's path, symbolizing the pharaoh's divine connection to the sun god and his journey to the afterlife. Khufu's architectural ambitions also went beyond just the Great Pyramid. Recent discoveries suggest that he may have commissioned other significant building projects across Egypt. From temples dedicated to various gods to smaller pyramids and mastabas for his family members, Khufu's impact on Egyptian architecture was far-reaching. He set a standard for future generations of pharaohs who would continue to build pyramids, though none would match the scale or complexity of his own. Despite the grandeur of the Great Pyramid, Khufu's reign was not solely focused on construction. He had to manage a complex society, maintain diplomatic relations with neighboring regions, and ensure that Egypt's agricultural economy remained robust. The Nile River's annual flooding was essential to this economy, and Khufu's administration would have played a crucial role in managing the distribution of resources, organizing labor for monumental projects, and overseeing trade expeditions to acquire luxury goods, such as cedarwood from Lebanon and gold from Nubia. As we look upon the Great Pyramid today, we are not merely looking at a pile of stones. We are staring into the past, a past that reveals much about human ambition, spirituality, and the will to create something that endures beyond death. Khufu's pyramid has survived earthquakes, looting, and the ravages of time, standing as a symbol of an era when kings built on a grand scale to ensure their legacy. Khufu's name may be shrouded in both glory and mystery, but there's no doubt that his ambition has granted him a form of immortality. The Great Pyramid remains a profound statement of human ingenuity, a marvel that invites us to ponder the mysteries of the past and the aspirations of those who came before us. If you've enjoyed this journey through history, exploring the life and legacy of one of ancient Egypt's most fascinating figures, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Historical Highway for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our world. Your support helps us continue to bring you more compelling tales from history's vast landscape, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next adventure.